Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, I'm going to be talking about 5 players on the defensive side of the football that are going to have career years under Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham for the Silver and Black. Now, here's the thing. We are expecting a lot out of this defense this season, which we have not been able to say in a very long time. And quite frankly, I'm excited, and I can't wait to see the Raiders do what they're going to do, because I think they're going to be one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Let's go to the very first person coming up here on the show. It's Maxx Crosby. And Mad Max has been the face of this franchise. He is everything that I think embodies of what it means to be a Raider, commitment to excellence. Here's the thing, though. He has not gotten the credit or the recognition that he deserves because the Raiders haven't won many football games with him. Now you got a brand new defense, and I'm hoping that he's going to put up numbers that he has never even put up himself, because the amount of snaps he's out there playing, he's one of the best run defenders. I am hoping by the end of this season, the Raiders win some football games, and Maxx Crosby gets the notoriety of just being the best defensive player in the league. And with all the extra depth that they add to that defensive tackle, I'm telling you right now, Maxx Crosby is going to break Derrick Burgess' season sack record. All he needs is 16 and a half. If he can get to 16 and a half, hell, I'm anticipating 17, 18, 19 sacks for Crosby. Why? They're not going to be able to double team him like they used to. Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Koonce, Christian Wilkerson. You got a guy like Christian Wilkins, Christian Wilkins, you got Adam Butler, John Jenkins. You have a hell of a defensive line coach in Rob Leonard. This is going to be the year. Crosby is number 1 in the season single sack record. And if you agree, click that like button. Let's go to the next name here, Christian Wilkins at defensive tackle. And Chugs is right when he says that he doesn't really think that Wilkins is going to have another 9-sack season. And I'll be real, I kind of agree with him on that statement. But I do think Wilkins can have a career year from a run defending standpoint, can also have a career year in just impact that he is making on the team. And he's not going to put up the sexy numbers that maybe you see in some of these numbers up on screen. So, Mitch, how is he going to have a career year? He's going to have a career year because for the first time in his career, Wilkins is going to be a part of a defense that I really, truly believe could be the number 1 defense in the National Football League. And when you sign a contract like Wilkins did for about $27.5 million, you don't necessarily, especially at DT, go, well, I'm only worried about my numbers. No. If you're Wilkins making that type of money, you're worried about the team numbers. And to me, the signing of Wilkins, and if he has a career year, that's going to open up things for Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Koonce, Maxx Crosby, and combined, I think the Raiders could legitimately lead the NFL in sacks this upcoming season. But let's talk about 98 and 94, because that might be the best DN defensive tackle duo in the entire league. Predict it for me down below. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. How many sacks will that duo have this upcoming season? My magic number for Mad Max and Wilkins is 30. That's a big number, I know. Realistically, though, I'm probably going to be sitting somewhere around 25, 26 sacks combined for those players, and that's with me saying that I think that Crosby's going to have 17, 18. I still think Wilkins is going to get his, but again, he's going to be the one that eats the double teams. He's still going to be out there working, stopping in the run game, but sacks isn't always the game that defensive tackles play. Let's go to the next name here on this list, and you're going to see a lot of defensive linemen. Why? I'm a believer in Antonio Pierce, Patrick Graham, Rob Leonard. I'm a believer that if I'm going to put my chips somewhere and if I'm going to make a video around people having career years, where's my money and where's my mouth going? Pause. It's going to go with those 3 guys that I just said because I believe in them. I also believe in Tyree Wilson. Wilson was a player that I said last season is going to struggle. Why? The Raiders are not planning on having him out in the field because they wanted him to rest because of Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones. Tyree Wilson is forced to play, and you've already heard him talk this offseason about, I don't have to worry about just not only learning the NFL and rehab because he was rehabbing his foot. Now he can just go out there and play. Now he can just go out there and be the freak athlete that he is, because here's the thing. Tyree Wilson is a freak of a athlete. He's a freakish human being. You do not make people that are as talented as Tyree Wilson, and I can't wait for him to show not only Raider Nation, but for him to show the entire NFL that he can have a career year and that he is going to take that next step. We saw guys like Tre'von Moerhig, Malcolm Koonce take that next step in the second year with Patrick Graham. Why can't Tyree Wilson? He's going to get opportunities to play on the inside and on the outside, and he will never be double-teamed thanks to Christian Wilkins, thanks to Maxx Crosby, thanks to Malcolm Koonce. And as soon as he is double-teamed, quite frankly, I'm going to say thank you because that means somebody else has got a one-on-one matchup that shouldn't have a one-on-one matchup. Tyree Wilson, the pterodactyl, he's balling this year. Remember, y'all, if you haven't already, this might be your last opportunity to get your hands on some Raiders hats. The link is going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show, chatsports.com/Raiders hats. I personally think that hats are the best gift item if you don't want to tip your cap to what you're going to be getting somebody because, hey, anytime you ask somebody, what do you use your shoe size? Probably going to buy him shoes. Hey, Jeremy, what's your shirt size? Probably going to end up getting you a t-shirt. These are not normal questions that you ask somebody. But, hey, if you want to get somebody a snapback, get them a nice little hat. Father's Day is right around the corner. I know we got some awesome deals here. And it's the summertime. I'm trying not to get sunburned, so I've been wearing a lot more caps. And I know when I make videos at home, I usually wear a lot more hats. If there's a Raiders hat that you want me to rock that you own, send it to me. DM me. Instagram, Twitter, Mitchell Renz 365. All right, let's go to the next name here. But, Mitch, another defensive lineman. Yes, I am going to say Malcolm Koonce because I really do not think that the 8 sacks that he had in the final 9 games of last season was a fluke. I think it was a combination of a player really starting to find that confidence and swagger, a team using him in the right way. Shocker, you're finally using Malcolm Koonce as an outside linebacker, and it works. Wild. And then on top of that, you just have so much other talent at the defensive line where Koonce is going to get those one-on-one matchups. On top of that even, contract year. We see players time and time again, when it's that contract year, they put a little bit of extra oomph into what they're doing in the offseason. You heard a guy like Patrick Graham say that he got giddy over Malcolm taking that next step, being a leader and helping other players. Everything that you are seeing, everything that you saw, everything you are hearing about Malcolm Koonce tells me this guy's about to put up double-digit sacks, and if the Raiders can get the 4 people that I just said all to have career years, not even a maybe, you will have the best defense in the National Football League. To make sure that you never miss anything going on around this team because, hey, Raiders OTA practices, they're in the past, but guess what? We got mandatory minicamp coming up, and the Raiders got a lot of money to spend in free agency thanks to getting all that extra cash from Jimmy Garoppolo. If the Raiders end up doing anything from June 5th to June 9th, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm going to be at a bachelor party, and it might be Jeremy Chuggs going live. I'll do my best to zoom in, and I am making these videos a little ahead of time, but you know what? I don't take any days off, and this is a day that we are filming this a week ago. We filmed this a week ago, but Jeremy and I stayed late to make sure that we did it. Why? We love the nation, and if you love the nation, make sure you're subscribed. Let's go to the final player that I think is really going to have a career year this season on defense with Patrick Graham, with Antonio Pierce, and it's Jack Jones. I mean, you saw what Jones was able to do last year in a situation where he got released by the New England Patriots, he got signed off waivers by the Raiders, and then ends up turning out to be our best outside corner on this roster. He brings swagger, he brings confidence, but imagine a world where Jack Jones takes a step like Tre'von Moerhig, Malcolm Koonce did in their second year in the same defense, working with other players, and then I would imagine that if this Raiders defensive line is as good as what it is, and it's going to be good, that's going to help an aggressive player like Jones out get even more opportunities to create even more turnovers. My point is, Jones was a hell of a player last season, and if we've already seen multiple other players on defense because this Raiders coaching staff, especially on defense, is a good coaching staff filled with a bunch of teachers, if Jones takes that next step, we could be talking about him as being one of the best corners in the NFL. And some people might think that that's ridiculous, but his pedigree coming out of high school, entering college, he was almost going to be a first-round pick, but there was some shenanigans off the field that kind of hurt him. These 5 players on the defensive side of the football are all going to have career years, and I can't wait to see it go down here for the nation. So here's the thing, though. I know I left some people off my list, and I do have an honorable mentions list coming up here on the show, but there are a lot, and I mean a lot of players that I felt like I left off my list on that defensive side. So for me, there were 4 other names that I thought about that I could have added, and the names are these names right here. All 4 of them in contract years. All 4 of them, quite frankly, could get contract extensions this year. Moerhig, Epps, Nate Hobbs, Robert Spillane, all deserve it. The reason why that they did not make the list for me is because, again, this show is based on career years, and I don't know if these 4 guys are going to have as good of years as what they've had in the past.